Hello team, welcome to the Selenium training. Today is the 27th of March 2017 and we are starting with our day one. The previous session we tried to focus more in terms of, it was more of a motivational discussion and trying to get you pepped up as to what you're going to look at going forward. So today we're going to get started team with the Selenium training. So for us to do this effectively, I've created a Google Drive and I'll put all that we do in here and I will be able to share with you as we go along. But do note everyone that the documents, I won't share it on a daily basis. I will not share it on a daily basis. I'll be sharing it as we complete each and every project that we try and achieve through the entire platform. All right. Now, this I'm going to say is the day 01 notes. I'll put it in there. So what is it that I would like to accomplish today, team? I want to talk about, I think we sent this out in the email, correct? What are the few points that we wanted to do? Do any of you remember what those are? I'm searching for them as well, so I don't have to recreate it again. There were 5 basic things that I wanted to get to. All right. Here you go, right? So while a lot of these topics I've covered just a couple of weeks back within the AnyAUT Certified Tester free training, I believe that for those of you who did not attend, it'll make good sense for us to go over them again. So basics of manual and automation testing, and this is very important. How do we differentiate them? Selenium IDE, AnyAUT, a quick introduction and how and why we can use it within our training overall, element identification methodology, the basics of it, and running the test scenarios through IDE. These are some things that we need to look at before we get into the more advanced topics. And once we go forward, we'll be focusing on all these. All right. Sounds good, everyone? All right, let's go. So basics of manual and automation testing. Very simple team. We all know what is software testing, correct? What is QA and software testing? Anyone who does not know what it is or want me to explain it? Even if you say no, I'm good, I will still explain. Because it's very simple team. At the end of the day, I want you to unlearn everything that you have done, because the whole industry and market has spoiled us and we have not learned the right things. So we'll come back to the basics, fundamentals, foundations, and we'll build from there. What are we trying to do? Quality assurance. Oops. We are trying to ensure that the quality is top-notch. So the whole endeavor towards QA and software testing is to make sure that the quality of any software product, sometimes even services, is at the highest possible percentage. 100% is the dream / vision. But then we know that we can fall short sometimes. It still happens. But how do we go in a very structured and process-oriented manner to achieve this is what is all about QA and software testing team. You need to find where end users will have no issues and defects to work with. If this happens in the typical business world, there's a lot of credibility that's lost more than anything else. Because many of these businesses depend on the concept that we don't have enough time to waste in executing any application. So if it's not good enough or with defects, they will move on. in today's world, no one has really the time to sit down on a team. Now, there is a manual process and then there's an automation process. Let's talk about manual process team and let's take an example. What application do you recommend that we use to learn this? I'm asking to the audience. We have so many applications that we can use. Any application that is web-based that we can use. Give me a few, please. Increase the font size. Sure, I'll do that. Amazon.com. Let me see if I can go to Amazon.com. I think, yeah, sure, why not? eBay, BCCI.tv. Someone knows I'm already a cricket fan. Kayak, Geico. Let's see Geico, how does it look? Kayak, I've never visited really Geico, though I like their ads. This looks interesting, team. I like this. Craigslist, yeah. Craigslist is another thing that we can look at. Oops, Craigslist.org. It's gone to San Diego. Why did it go to San Diego? It should come to my place, Los Angeles, San Fernando Valley. That's where I am. YouTube, sure. So a lot of these. So right now, I just want to look at Amazon, Geico, and Craigslist. And I have never ever visited Geico.com so far. First time I'm looking at it. I know what it is. I've seen the website, but this first time I'm kind of looking at it. I think it makes sense to me because we have drop downs, we have fields, we have a lot of icons, logins, search. So there's plenty of opportunities for us to test the functionality of this. Should we all go with Geico.com, everyone? Is that cool? All right, let's take Geico.com. Now, let us assume for a minute and visualize this. You have joined the QA team of Geico.com. Okay, and you need to spend a week without any supervision on the application. They've given it to you. They said, you know what, play around. So how do we go about executing or doing or working on this now? So what is the first thing that we will do, team? We have test plan, right? Then we have test scenarios or modules, test cases, steps. Then as we go about defects and so on, right? Now, but where do we start from? You start with one functionality. That's very critical. And understand that. You know, the few that I see, and I definitely need to mention this, is what are the top qualities for a QA engineer? Can someone help me with answering this, please? What are the top things that a QA engineer does? Oops. And that will help us. Wow. Eagle eye. Two of you told me the same thing at the same time. Janelle Notice and Tulasi Inabithini. You both have said eagle eye. And believe me, I was not even ready for it. I totally forgot about that concept. Eagle eye. Okay. Domain knowledge. Yes. Totally agreed. I'll come to eagle eye, team. That's a great discussion topic. Attention to detail. Absolutely. Analysis. What do you analyze? Itisha, what do you think we will analyze? Breaking the application. Like, you know, what is breaking the application, team? Can you guys understand this? Destroy. Be a destroyer. try and see how it will be broken. That's it. It's a very sadistic approach that is totally needed. It's not to prove ourselves right or someone else wrong, but just to ensure that it is better we break it inside the house than a customer gets it and then tries to break it. All right. It's not an emotion or an emotional drama out there with it. Detail oriented. Okay. Where's my mouse? Oops. Okay, here. Detail oriented. Now I'll search and see if I can add anything to it. Organized. Perfect. So you all know it, team. As a group, you all know what it is. Verbal and written communication. Time management. Negative testing, positive testing, problem solving skills is kind of analytical behavior. I'll put it there under that problem solving. Clear documentation. If you have put your chat message and have not written it because maybe it's repeating, self-motivated. Find more bugs, yes. Think from an end user outlook, yes. Think from an end user, outlook. Team, is it an or a before an and? End is there, right? Think from an end user. Is it a or an an? What is it? How do you know if it's an or an an? It's interesting, right? When we get to really asking questions to ourselves, why, what comes before it? My formula is very simple, team, that I learned. If the next word starts with a vowel, which is our A, E, I, O, U, then you put an an. If not, put an a. So it becomes natural flow after that. Okay, so an is correct here. N starts with an E, so it is an. Now, one of the biggest things that irritate me and truly honestly that I get very disappointed with, when someone even puts a incorrect English in the chat. Okay, so now can you all make sure that you try to put the correct grammar to your best of knowledge going forward in the chat when you're trying to interact with me? Yes, Srivali, I'm able to see your messages. All right, there are over 100 people in this audience right now, so I just want to ensure that I honor everyone at the same time do what's really necessary. My name is still showing as IT Learn. Let me quickly change it. I don't even introduce myself, right? Hi team, this is Karthik Kusireddy and so on. And I start. All right, a few more things that have come up saying, what's that? I heard one more somewhere. Positive attitude and out of box thinking, open-minded, judgment skills. Now, don't you think all these are needed for everything? For every role in software industry, don't you think these are all needed, team? Team player, I'll put it as part of attitude. Then what is the point about, I'm talking to QA engineer. See, if I have to be a race driver, also this will help. But there's one core skill, correct? And that is that ability to drive. Here, yes, breaking the application or destroying it is one core skill, right? End of the day, you're going to be assessed because of this. Have you done it or not? Eagle eye is another thing. You know what's an eagle eye, team? How many of you know the purpose of eagle eye? All that I talk is a lot of sense, team. Even if you're someone who's got 10 years or 12 years of experience in QA industry, this will change the whole perspective. Okay, it's very sharp. They can see from far. You know, an eagle looks at a mouse or a rodent or a rabbit from 10,000 feet up high on the ground and then plans its whole descent to come, attack and make that kill. There's no other animal which will do that, team. A shark does it with its nose and it puts everything saying, you know what, I smell blood, I smell a target, now let me go get it. An eagle eye, it's not nose right now, it's an eye. Believe me team, the biggest asset that you have is an eagle eye. When I look at, and this is how I realize that I'm good at testing or finding defects. When I look at an application, few seconds I'm able to find, hey, there's a defect here. For those of you who cannot, we have spell correctors. So for example, I put like this, Google, help me. It's not even spell correcting. Why? I don't know. Write something here. No, it's not doing spell correction. I will look at all these to make sure that is it correct or not. You need, can you all hear me team? I lost my audio.
Hi team, welcome back. Day one continuation, we had a technical glitch, like we say, or put it, and I'm back right now. Okay, so we talked about eagle eye, and domain knowledge is the other thing I really emphasize. You know, why is domain knowledge important? If you don't know something about an application, how it is supposed to work, how it is supposed to look, and how it's supposed to feel for the end user, we can never be great test engineers. You need to make sure you spend enough time in that effort of acquiring the domain knowledge, everyone. Attention to detail, analysis, communication, and so on, I totally agree. But one more thing, which is very critical, is clear documentation. Why is clear documentation very important, team? Can you imagine that? Because a lot of time, you are pointing a finger to someone else. It's almost like a complaint or a case against them. And when you're doing such an activity, you want to ensure that all your paperwork is easy for them to understand. Otherwise, they'll come back with a question, you'll go back with an answer. Question, answer, question, answer. And this will continue to happen. So it has to be so clear that anyone can understand the same way, exactly the same way. It should not be in a way that they understand it differently. Each human does it. So it should be human independent communication or documentation team. All right. So self-motivated, think from an end user outlook. Again, I believe this is critical. I have not come up with any of these myself, team. It's all come from the team, from you. And I put them here. That's all I did. Okay. Out of box thinking. So the ones in red are critical, I believe. Verbal and written communication, absolutely yes. But I can go away with a spelling mistake if the person is got everything else in red. But if the user does not have that, then you know, I don't care how good English is, it's still not useful enough for that. Right? Great. So now, if we need to test a functionality of Geico, one of the first things, let's say, is we need to be an expert. Now, how typically it starts? You need, what is the first thing you ask him? You join the QA team. Where is the, what is the, complete my sentence please? First thing that you'll ask when you get to a job? Right, not AUT, okay, you'll ask where AUT or BRD, business requirement documentation, or functional requirement specification, or you know, any kind of documentation, correct? Is there a better way to ask this question? Because a lot of times you hear Yeah, we have it, but do you still need it? Geico is not a one simple application, right? It's got so many things in it, but there's some generic flow and then everything else. Can you ask this question in a better way? You can also ask, can I get access to? You know what I would ask, team? Do we have any existing documentation? The whole language changes things. Do we have existing documentation that I can look at that will help me? Because they want you to play around the application and the test. Feel it like an end user. Now, you want to test and make sure that the end user is happy, correct? This is one of the things we put from an end user outlook, right, everyone? So does the end user have documentation, he or she? Yes or no? Do they have it? Yes or no, team? Do they have it or no? End user, do they have access to this? Team, there are 110 people. You answering yes or no in the chat means everything. Okay, so 89, 90% of you are saying are no, and I agree with you. Few of you are saying yes, because there's a user guide. Now tell me, did you have a user guide for WhatsApp, or Facebook, or LinkedIn, or Amazon, or Geico, or what is the last user guide that you worked with? End user also does not have a user ID and password. They register, they sign up, and they go from there. There is a user manual, but who really read that? 99% of them will not. They will explore and learn exactly then. They will explore and learn. I'm the first time luckily visiting Geico right now. All I need is to know what does Geico do. Geico I know is an insurance company, right? It's an insurance company. That's what Geico is. So I'm sure I'll get some insurances. And I'm looking at auto. But, oh, more than just car insurance. So there's auto, motorcycle, homeowners, renters. Wow, so Geico does all of this. Brilliant. Jewelry as well. I click on jewelry, I get something. I click on umbrella insurance, I get something. I click on life, something else. It's giving me some phone numbers, motorcycle, ATV, homeowners. So I'm just playing around. Renters, I'm seeing if this front page will change for any of these. It's not. It's remaining to be the auto insurance, right? Now, how do we translate the user experience, or what we call as also use cases, into a testing artifact? What do we do for that? We have to write the test scenario / cases. What are these things? These are basically simple steps to reproduce an end user action. They have a starting point, an ending point, and some expected behavior of the application. So to do this effectively, again, keep going back to these things in red. Domain knowledge, breaking the application destroyer, clear documentation. Anyone can understand the same way. It should be human independent. If Karthik writes something, then even a Bella or a Romy or a Renu or Sumant in the chat right now who've been pinging me should have the same thing. Artifact spelling mistake. Okay, thank you. Let me see. Where did I? Oh, sorry. Why is it not doing spell correction for me? Is there something I'm doing wrong in Google Drive team? This is a Google document. It should do spell correction for me, right? Thank you, Romy and Sumant. This is correct, right? Okay, cool. Now, what do we do? I am going to do it in an Excel. There's a very simple reason we'll do it in an Excel. I can always write a test scenario here. /scenario. There's a very subtle difference between a test case and scenario team. So we'll use it interchangeably, but it's still doing the same purpose of activity. Let's talk about one. Which one should we do? Team, let me answer once again one question that you should not ask me again. The documentation and videos, everything will be available to you. Video within 4 to 5 hours after the session ends on the website. Documentation after every project that we complete. Now we are doing a project on Geico. Once we finish that, then I will share it with you. I don't want to share a daily documentation. All right. Now let's talk about a scenario team. I'm a first-time user in Geico. I want to look at a code, start code. So I'll put my zip code 91303 and say start code. And it will go to the next page where I fill in all this information and click on continue. If I don't fill in the information and click on continue, just throwing in error. Is that correct? Is this how it's supposed to behave? Yes or no? If it is already behaving this way, why do we need to test? It is already working, right? Do I still need to test it? The application is already behaving the way it's supposed to. Why should I test it again? It is already working. Why should I test it? Amala, you're absolutely right. Sandeep, you too. It is already working. Why should I test it? The answer is very simple, team. Regression testing. Perfectly right. Yes, Kelly. Why is regression testing? What is the concept of this? And we'll get to automation after this very quickly, team. We'll get to IDE. Okay. Now, regression testing is very simple. It's like an application which is built in this box. All right. Let's put a couple of bars here, and let's set 3 here. Each box that you see is a functionality. This is version 1. What happens in version 2? A new set of functionalities is added. Some things are eliminated. Some things are changed. And we have some new functionality. We are testing this portion and it is working fine. But whenever developers, especially on a web-based application, try and meddle around with the application, it can affect the whole thing. So regression testing is not just to test what has been recently created, which is these 2 circles, but also ensure that nothing else is broken down in the existing one. Regression is like retesting, repeating the test again on the same platform to ensure everything as a package is working fine. All right. So when we migrate or come up with a new release, be it a release with only a couple of changes or be it a major release with a lot of changes, we need to ensure that. Now, a test case scenario is this. Go to Geico. Okay. And enter a zip code. Then do not fill the form. What did we do here? We clicked on submit. Click on enter zip code. After we enter zip code, what did we do here? What was the button? Get code, is it? Start code. Click on start code. Click on continue. User should get an error message that the form has not been filled. This is a scenario for you. Now, just imagine how many variations of the scenario we can have? Dozens and sometimes even hundreds, depending on the number of fields and so on. What if user enters no zip code and says continue? See, I didn't enter zip code. I still continue. I just clicked continue. It was fine. It's not supposed to, but it's okay. It said you're anyway going to fill this big form later, right? And we have all this information right now to enter. And I just enter first name and let's say last name, and I say continue. It'll give me error, but it's going to be a different one. So this is one such scenario. If this is one scenario, we need to name it. Name everything. Test case, okay? Use case, requirement ID. What else should we name? Defect ID. What does it mean? Every test case, this is how the whole life cycle is seen. Very simple. Everything is so simple and made easy for us to understand. First, it starts with the pain team. A pain always. Something is poking someone. They have a problem. All right. Then it becomes a requirement that now I need a solution. That requirement becomes a specific, how do we say, functionality of it. But functionality is then broken down into many test cases. A test case, when executed, can result in a defect. And that defect should be able to go back and find its way to where it originated from. So between the pain and the requirement, it's the business owner who makes some effort. Between the requirements and functional specification is the business analyst or the IT managers who do something. From functional to TC, it's the complete software development life cycle. And then the defect life cycle will start from here in the reverse order, because it will go back and it will say, so I want to name this P1, this R1, this S1, this TC1, T1. Next one will be P1, R2, F2, 3, 4, and so on. And each time it gets magnified. So one defect which is there, whatever we get, it could be a big number, is going back to the pain. And we're trying to figure, and that's the end user perspective. Now, is this fair enough to write a test case or scenario with this specific sentence highlighted? Clear documentation. Why? I could be one of the QA engineers in a 30-member QA organization for an IT company. If I write something, everyone should be able to replicate. Now I go, I test this and say, Eureka, I found a defect, and I'll try and submit it. The developer will come back and say, defect is not reproducible. I do not see what you're seeing. You'll be surprised and shocked. How come they cannot see? I wrote it so clearly. Because every human is different, and we need to make sure. That is why we go in a very organized manner. And this is a test case template. All right. So every test case will say there's a test case ID, there's a step number to it, there's a detail for the step, and expected, actual, and result are the same. What we have is the detail. So this is one test case thing. And I can also insert one more here. Let's say test case name. So test case ID, let's say it is TC001. Since we're saying it's Geico, I'll say Geico underscore quote underscore test case 001. Why? By just looking at that name of it, it should become very clear for us. What is the name of this test case thing? Quote mandatory information. Unless you get that, we cannot. So this is the name I have, and I'll put it out here. Whenever you're doing automation or testing, especially automation team, you have to be extremely clear. Okay, that's what we're doing. All right. Now, in this, go to Geico. So what does this mean? The step number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is MOP, Bella? I didn't get you. Sorry, maybe I missed something. What is go to Geico, team? Believe me, if I ask my 9-year-old daughter that go to Geico, she will say, what is the address? Will you ask the same question? What is the address? How will I drive there? I can't go by myself. Can you come and drop me? So it's not go to Geico. Go to Geico website. And we can also say home page. But what is the address? Oops, so we need to put somewhere the address, right? Some information. So insert one left and I'll say test data. What are we using to test? In our testing lifecycle, is this going to change, everyone? Will this change for us? Geico.com right now, correct? Will this always be Geico.com or can there be something different? Will it always be Geico.com that you will test on or will it be different? Simple question, team. If you want to be involved, you have to participate and answer my questions. It will keep you motivated. Otherwise, believe me, you'll sleep off. And there's no point in attending this training. All right, so choose. If you have chosen to be here, then you need to go with it. Will it be same or different? I've got equal answers to me. It will be the same or it will be different. Always be Geico. No, team, it will not be. Why? Simple thing. When I change something in the IT world, you have the main, this is called live or production. Okay, live, sometimes production, sometimes they're different. But this is what the end users see. If I want to change, I have a replica of this and that will become my development. Okay, development will happen here. Then a replica of this development will be a testing and we'll test this. And then we test, ensure that this is correct. Developers also have done their duty. Then a new live production will come from here. And it's called deployment. These are called as boxes or servers. So it will not be on Geico.com. It will be something like dev dot or test dot blah 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 dot Geico.com and so on. For a very simple example in what I am doing, the AnyAUT is not yet ready. It is on dev.atomic77.in/ANAU because it's the first 2 characters of the application version2/app. It is a development server and we are testing also on this server to make things faster in an agile world. We're going with that. Okay. So if this is how we're doing it, every application is typical that's approach team. And this is very important. These are called as servers or boxes that you work with. So each one has different access. They work on it individually so it does not disturb what is working. Concept is very simple. Do not rock a boat. Do not jump a boat or jump to the next boat before the boats are stabilized, or do not shake one boat and move to the other. Okay. So your servers and boxes where you move from and so on. This is actually the build life cycle. Exactly. You take one thing, you build it offline, you test it offline or out of the end user's perspective, then you release it. And that is also called as deployment. You build or deployment. All right, let's go back. So you need that. Right now, I don't have access to test server. Why don't I have access to Geico test server? Because I'm not working there. The company does not know who is Karthik. Why in the whole world will they give it to me? They'll say, you know what, I don't want to give it to you. You're not part of my company. What we do is proprietary, very important information. Now, enter a zip code. Do we need any information here? How does it matter? How does it matter, team, with zip code? In this case, it actually didn't even ask me to the mandate to fill a zip code. Correct? But then, when you test something, it's very simple, team. See, it's like this, very simple. Let's say you're trying to cook a dish. Okay? You get on the phone and you call, let's say your spouse or your mother or your sibling and say, how to make this? Because they're not there with you. You do it exactly as they're doing it, right? End of the day, you can taste it and try it and say how good it is. The other person who guided you cannot. They cannot, right? But all you can do is try and follow the correct instruction. It is to eliminate human errors. So I'll say I'm testing for this zip code. Click on start code. Does it require any additional information? We're trying to click on the start code. No, it does not. Do not fill the form. Do I need to provide any additional information for this? If I need to fill the form, then yes. Click on continue. Does that require anything? User should get an error message that the form has not been filled. Does this require anything? Of course it does. So look at it, 91303, start code. I go here, click on continue. And I expect this message. If I fill in some information, then it should show me something different. But otherwise, this is the message I expect. Now it is a little bit more clear for a human to do this thing. When it comes to automation, it is an absolutely stupid, dumb tool. You know, when God has created humans or the whole species when it came out, right? The whole purpose, how do we, and it's a very philosophical thinking as a sideline, how do we differentiate ourselves with other species on Earth? What is the difference? What's the difference between human and the animals? Look at the difference between every species. Humans can think, they're intelligent, they seek and attain knowledge, and they use the knowledge. Right? They're intelligent and they can think. But there's one more thing, team. Only human can ever feel or even be aware that there's something called as God. No animal can be aware. There's some creation. Someone's created us and we're there. Again, I'm not talking about religion out here. I'm just talking about the fact that there's the awareness that we've been created by someone and it is there, is not there. That essence of knowledge and intelligence is what other beings lack. So humans can understand this thing. Your automation tools are non-human. They have nothing to do with humans. They don't care if you're a pig or you're a horse or you're a tiger or a human. Give me instructions, I will follow. That is it. When it comes to automation, the basic block is very simple, team. The starting thing is called as your what you want me to do, where you want me to do. And I keep giving the example of an instruction that I can give to my friend. Let's say my friend came home, all right? First time. In fact, one of my closest friends from New Jersey, Vinay, he came over the weekend and I spent some good quality time connecting. He was my school days friend. And he was here for the weekend. And I could tell him, hey, Vinay, can you go? And I work from the garage, which is detached from my home. So I could tell Vinay, hey, Vinay, can you go home and get me a cup of water? He knows what I'm saying. That's enough, right? To say the same thing to a robot, what do I need? I need to say, stand up, open the door, go outside, turn right, go straight, open the home door, go to the refrigerator, pick up a bottle of water, go to the refrigerator, open the refrigerator, pick it up, close the door, walk back all the way, give it to me. Even one step I missed, right? In the whole thing, it will do absolute chaos. So each time I should tell what it should do, where it should do. What, where. What, where. This is the fundamental concept of any automation tool. Okay. Now, how do we work with it? Very simple. Let's open up Firefox. All of you, as I'm teaching each and every concept, how is something that automation tool should know. They will know how to do it. If you stand up, they know how to stand up. We say walk, it will know how to walk. To sit, it will know how to sit. That it knows already. But we have to give. It's like a dog, a pet. You say, go fetch, right? Or sit down, lean back, or stay calm, do not bark. All right. So as I give this instruction, I want each of you to practice and follow on the same. Maybe we'll do it on a different application. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to geico.com out here. There are two things we need, team, at this moment. One is Selenium IDE, and the next is Firebug. Anyone who's not aware about what is Selenium IDE exactly, you can answer saying, I am not. In fact, let me see if I have a poll to just check my audience. You know what? Let me do a quick one, please, so I can easily work with you on it. Of Selenium IDE, yes, totally. Little bit, not at all. Okay, answer's already there here for me. Copy this, save this. So bear with me, team. For a minute, this is important for me. Come on. What's wrong with this? Oh, come on. Okay, one created. Give me a quick second, everyone. One more. Okay, so a couple of polls, team, that will help me to set it accordingly. Launch. The first one is on your screen. What is, do you know Selenium IDE? Are you aware of Selenium IDE? Three options, yes, totally, little bit, not at all. It's just to gauge the audience, team, and it's fine if you don't have the complete answer. And the answer should be on the screen. Click on the option that you see. And guess what the audience will say, team, as well, while you're answering too. Okay, so we've got about 70% votes in another 5 seconds. Team, it's a quick thing, quickly finish, put your votes in. Let's go forward, please. Everyone. Simple question, guys, come on. Okay, I'm closing it now. Almost 80% votes in. So before I share, team, just can you tell me the distribution of percentage? How many people will say yes, somewhat, and no? What could be like 20, 40, 40, or 80, 20, 80, 10, 10? Just check at your end, and then you'll see the results from everyone else, the audience. 40, 40, 10 does not add to 100. 33, 33, 33. Okay. All right. 98, 2. You know, I would have been 98 too as well. And here it is. Just check this. Can you all see it, team, on your screen? So 37% of you, yes. 43% kind of little bit. 19% not at all. And that's a fact, team. So there are almost 20% of you have not seen Selenium IDE, and that is why it's important for me to start there. Next one, launch. Same options, but are you aware of Firebug? What is Firebug? So now you need to work on these two. Firefox add-on. This is also Firefox add-on. Answer it on the screen, everyone. I'm closing this in the 5 seconds now. And you can also try and see which one, what people will say about this. Put your votes also in the chat as to what you think the community is going to say. And I'm going to close it in 3-4 seconds. What do you think others will say, team? At least put it in your mind so you know what, when you see the answer, what they will say. All right. This is amazing. It's just, it's an intellectual team, but still I have to focus on everyone. So 43% totally, 25% little bit, 33% are not at all. And this does not add to 100%, comes more to 101%. I think it's more rounded off somewhere. That's fine. So that's what it is, team. You all can see this, right? All right. Now let's go. Selenium IDE. How do you get started with it? Very simple, team. Open up your Firefox. You have to do this in Firefox and go to either seleniumhq.org or just how do we install Selenium IDE? I totally forgot. Can you all see my screen, everyone? No, not yet. All right. Now you can. Okay, so you go to seleniumhq.org and click on Selenium IDE is here on the home page, and you could Selenium IDE plugins page. I think download Selenium, right? Team, you have to help me now. I don't even remember how to get the I know everything advanced with Selenium IDE. Come on, where am I? Go to Firefox. Add-ons. Somewhere it will be there. Okay. See, on Firefox browser, you click on these 3 bars, go to add-ons and search for Selenium IDE. Right? Once you search for it, you will see a lot of options that come up. You're looking for Selenium IDE out here, the main one. Okay? And just say install, or it is already installed and that's why it's not showing. Best match name. It should show us an icon also, correct? How many of you don't have Selenium IDE? No. Don't have. I already have it, so it's not showing me. Add-ons. I already have it, so it's not showing. Let me remove this. Restart now. So I should not be seeing Selenium IDE here. Gone. Now I'll search for Selenium IDE and search available add-ons. Selenium Expert. Thank you, Bindi Desai. I'll try and use this link. But before that, let me go here. You know what? I'll just trust Google team. I'll just go to Google and say install Selenium IDE on Firefox. It will give me the link. addons.mozilla.org/so-and-so add-ons for Firefox, and here you go. add to Firefox and say install. And it should get installed very quickly. What happens is it's an open contribution, right? Everyone will come up with something with Selenium. You want to make sure that you have the right version. So there you go. And now under tools, you should see Selenium IDE. Now, let's focus on Selenium IDE team. Firebug I'll come to in a little while. Now, what does Selenium IDE do? Team? The primary purpose for Selenium IDE is to, one, it will do a record of steps, user steps, then run test pack only on Firefox limited features. This is what Selenium IDE is. All right. Now, this is how the UI looks. It's a very simple thing. The first thing you need to focus is this red dot. Couple of years down the line, this may change and you may see a new UI, but the concept is going to be the same. You take your mouse over, it will say that now recording. Click to stop recording. So now recording is stopped, recording is started. Now get your Firefox browser to the other side. So I have my IDE on one side and Firefox on the other side. Anything that I don't require, these extra tabs, I'm going to close. I'm going to geico.com. So what was the steps? I entered a zip code here. And as I type and take any action, you'll see some steps being generated here. Click on start code. And you get all this information. Then you click on continue. See how the steps are getting generated. And you got this text. And then that's it. I'll stop this. Now it is untitled. I'll go to properties for it. Change it to, what was the name we gave? Let's keep the same name. All right. And I'm going to say, click on run this, play current test case. It's called run. So whatever it learns, it will try and execute the same thing again. And this is done without any human intervention. Selenium, hence, is a great learner. It will learn and mimic user steps / actions. That is what it can do. Now, you want to observe how does it work in action, right? So while you're running, you'll notice it is running, but it's going very fast, quickly. So you can reduce the speed of this execution, make it a little bit more slow, by dragging the path and trying to execute the same thing. In the bottom corner of Selenium IDE, you have something called as a log. Log is basically a step-to-step representation of something. If you click on clear, the whole log is gone. And when you re-execute, as it does, executing the web, opening the website and so on, it goes about filling the information that we get and navigates through the application, and it says test case passed. And this green out here basically said I had one execution and there was 0 failures. So it's all green. Now one of the things that we want is to verify this, if this text is coming. It's an early starting point for us, team. If you don't know the aspect of automation and this basic thing, everything will not go well when you go to WebDriver and plan things. This particular thing here called command is what you want to do. This particular thing here called target is the other W, which is the where. All right. So there's a where and there's a what. This is very critical, team, as information. Okay. You cannot go beyond automation if you don't understand this. Command is the user command that we're giving to Selenium IDE to perform a task. Target is where we want to, and value is any additional information that is required. So if you notice this, the base URL is already set here on the top. It's geico.com. The first command is to open. Open will help us to open up the website and go to a specific link. Then we have type. It will help us type something. Click and wait. Click and wait. Now, how are you all aware of these commands? Not necessarily. There are a bunch of commands that will be there and there are dozens and dozens of them. Are you supposed to master them? No. Then how do you know what to use when? Very simple. Try and look at it from an English perspective. What does that English verb say? It's a verb. It has to have some action associated with it. That is how you relate to it. And over a period of time, it becomes comfortable for you. And do not think these commands are IDE commands. The same things when it comes to WebDriver, the names change. It's going to be a little different. And that's not a problem. You are not here to master Selenium IDE. It's just a 1 hour thing to master IDE. To master WebDriver, frameworks, programming and so on will take you at least 25 to 30 hours. And that is what we're trying to get into. All right. This is a starting point. Target is very interesting to me. It is how does it recognize anything? And this is where the basic concept of OOPS comes. How many of you do not know what is OOPS? Don't tell me OOPS is a expression when people make a mistake or suddenly feel very embarrassed. How many of you not sure what is OOPS, team? Because this is important for us to understand the target. How many of you are not aware what is OOPS? Guys, come on, yes or no answer, that's it, in the chat. Yes, I know, no, I don't. All right. Okay, so it's like half and half, almost. You know the definition, very simple thing. What they said is when they started designing languages like Java, C#, and so on, I'm not sure if C++ also, I think C++ as well, and Ruby on Rails or Python and so on. What they said is, hey, what about if we treat everything as real life? Everything as real life. So what happens in real life? There are one or more objects that interact and do some activities. That is what it is. Everything in life can be regarded as an object. And let's try and do the same. Now, very simple example is, let us say that we're talking about okay, a laptop, please. Let's talk about a laptop. All right. A laptop is an object. Correct, everyone? Now, how do we describe a laptop? How do we describe it? And then we can talk about other things. So a description of a laptop is, number one, it has a keyboard and a screen. 2, it can be folded. 3, it is portable. You can carry it anywhere. 4, it has the basic computer abilities as a system. It has a mouse pad. It doesn't require an external keyboard or a mouse. It's got everything in it. That is how, as soon as you see a laptop, you know it's a laptop. What is the variation of it? Not variation, but otherwise it's called as a desktop. And a desktop is more non-portable. It is much more larger. It is not compact. It is sitting on your system. It has an external keyboard, an external mouse. It's got a huge monitor, and it cannot be taken away from the plug. It doesn't have an inbuilt battery. So these properties describe a laptop. Okay, properties to describe. How is, then there are properties to identify a laptop. Description is one, identification is next. The serial number of it is laying in a bench with mine. the Mac gray one, new one is mine, I'm able to still identify. Or we go to serial number or manufacturing number, some kind of a number behind it, make and model, and so on. This is used to identify it. In a simple way, for example, all of you in this audience can be described as human. You have a first name, last name, you're all part of this, you're in specific, and so on. But how do I uniquely identify you? Maybe your first name. But what if the first name is being used by someone else, the same first name, then what do we do? Email address. That's enough for me, correct? I know your email address is unique, and that's enough for me. Now, what about if you go to your national database? Most of you are mentioning us from US, but then I can talk about social security number. And we say that you are identified based on your social security number. Why does the government not identify you using your email address team? I am able to identify you using the email address. Why can the government not identify you with the email address? And say, oh, if Karthik was ready at, this is the person. Social security number in US, Aadhaar in India, yes, it's unique. So, but again, email address is also unique, correct? Why not? Because I can have multiple email address teams. It's not standard, it's third party. So they've given a specific social security number or an Aadhaar number and said this is unique to you. So there are properties to describe like the height, weight, sex, look, appearance of a human being, or identification, which is your social security number or your DNA. If I take the same social security number and go to a different country, they will not understand what it is. And what does it come down to? Maybe a DNA test. That will become unique. It depends on where we are applying. Identification can vary on. Let's say your car, you have your license plate number. That is most important. But let's say if my car got stolen and someone has taken the license plate number and put a new thing, and change the color of the car and so on, how will we identify? There is a vehicle identification number on the chassis and so on. That becomes the VIN number. So there are multiple ways to identify. Depending on situations, we use it. This is a very important concept. And these same laptops, what we're using, have certain methods. Can a laptop walk? Can it drive? Can it fly? Can it sit? Or stand? And so on. But a human can, right? Not fly, but. That means, and the type of that object becomes a class. All right, do this. And the method that you can do here is type or run programs or write documents. You can surf the web. You can chat and so on. Different activities here. Now, if these are the options team that we have for an object, all right, anything that we see as one product of this class, one unique thing, is a creation of this class, and it becomes one object, and that's got a name to it. Okay? This object can be described using certain capabilities, identified using some. And this object, so there is the other concept that there's a parent class and there's a child class. Now, computers in general, okay, I'll just call them as PC, is the parent class. Okay, PC can do a lot of these things. A laptop is derived of a personal computer. It does everything almost a PC does, but then it has specific few things, that is variation. It's portable, it's got a battery pack and so on. An iPad is a variation of a laptop. It's again being derived out of. That becomes a parent and a child concept. The main takeaway for you here is look at everything that we do as an object. An object can perform specific methods and they can be identified or described with certain things. This is what Selenium IDE does. Command is what it should do. Depending on the object, it can do. if it sees a field, type text field, it cannot go and open a website on it. It will type onto it. So depending on the target, these things change. Target is the identification, and anything additional that you need to put is there in value. Now, we have the ability to write our own code beyond this. It will help you record, it will help you to. Now, get firebug.com. I think it's changed now. Extension isn't being developed or maintained any longer. We invite you to use the Firefox dev tool. Don't worry about it. Just click on install Firebug. All right. So go to getfirebug.com and install Firebug. I'll put this links here. And there was a yes. Team, I'm going very slow for the first couple of days, but as we go along, our speed will increase, okay? So once this is there, on your Firefox browser, please note that you can right-click anywhere you want, and you'll see an option called Inspect Element with Firebug. What this does is like a binocular. It goes and looks at these different elements and gives you an option. The option I'm going to choose that verify that this text is there. What is the text to continue so and so? And it has added that specific command. Now when I execute this, it will start again from the first step. It will open the website, enter the zip code in there. So it's still loading the web page, so it will wait for it to load, then enter, then click on start code, go to the new page, click on continue, get the error message, and it will try and check to see if this message is come. Once you see it's a green or a red bar, that means the execution is completed. Now, do you see all of them are in green? It is basically option or comment back from Selenium IDE that a specific command has been executed. But hey, do you see the last one? It's dark green, everyone. Why light green and dark green? This says that you tried to verify or test something and the test was a pass. Now, if I go here and say to continue, please, so and so, and I add something else here. Instead of 2, I'll just say 2. Just an error that I'm putting deliberately. And I try and rerun this. Now let us see what will happen. You can look at the log also while this is happening. Now what happened? It came up red. Actual value is 2, continue please. Did not match 2, continue please. It got what it expected. Now who's at fault here, team? Whose fault is it? Is it application that failed? Whose fault is it, team? Script fault, QA fault. Come on. It's Karthik's fault. It's my fault. I am the culprit here. Human error. No one is taking my name. I don't know why. It is absolutely, totally my fault, team. Because I changed. I played around with it. And that is what it is, team. It knows exactly what it is expecting. I have given the instructions. So the first step towards automation is this: record and run a Selenium IDE script. All right. So the first step. Just showing the levels of automation. Second is write your own script on Selenium IDE. Third is identify, and this includes element identification also. Third is migrate from IDE to WebDriver. Fourth is create smarter scripts that are interactive in WebDriver. So by step 3, we have moved them. Design and build automation frameworks. the next one. So the first two are pretty easy, team. In fact, the third one also. When it comes to 4 and 5, we'll spend 85% of our time in that. And that is what we'll get to from tomorrow. So join me back, same time. Let's take it from there. So team, any questions or comments that you have, that you can raise your hand. I can unmute and address. All of you should be aware about Talk to Karthik, everyone, team. This is like a session that I'm there, available at a specific time. If you wish to talk to me, then you can join. It is on Monday and Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, Thursday and Friday at 8:30 a.m. India time. And the link to join is here, only 25 minutes, or 25 members at the max. So if you have a question, that's a great session to come up and ask that I have a question there. And in our journey, it's going to be at least 2 to 3 weeks, team. Tomorrow I'll tell you the exact agenda of what we're planning and how we're going to go about it. All right, so I'm going to put everyone's hand down. If any one of you have a question and you need me to unmute you at this time, please raise your hand so that we can do it. But I would highly recommend, team, from tomorrow at least, keep your questions related to that specific session rather than anything in general. Today, it's fine. You can ask me any question that you have. But from tomorrow, kindly try and keep it to something general. So if you have a question, please raise your hand. Your hand from your desk. You need to click the option on the website, team. I hope this time is fine in terms of the webinar itself every day. All right, I don't see any questions. Either, I don't know, either you. Oh, can you please repeat the timings? Yeah, tomorrow, and we'll go to element identification and then slowly to WebDriver. Sorry, Joe, do you need to speak, Joe? Kalipali? Team, if you're able to raise your hand for any reason, please feel free to put it in the chat so I can. Oh, there are a lot of hands raised already. I'll go with Felicity first. Felicity, I tried to unmute you. Just check if you can speak now.
Hello, hello, Karthik. Can
Hello.
you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Could you explain what is the test plan consist of?
Out of scope for our thing, because it's more manual effort, but very simple. I'll tell you what it consists of. Okay.
Okay.
What a test plan is basically, let's say you're going on a vacation. All right.
Okay. Okay.
If you're going for a one-day vacation, you'll just plan to organize and pack a few things. Correct.
Okay.
But let's say you're going on a 10-day trip cross-country to 3-4 places. What do? You research where you're going, how will you get there, what will be the rental cars you'll take, what kind of a clothes we need to pack, where we'll stay, where we'll eat, what we do, right? That is a plan. Okay.
Okay.
So plan basically starts with, let us say, like I said in the earlier thing, diagram, that everything starts with a pane, and the pane gets converted into a requirement, and requirement into a functional specification that becomes a test case, and then effects for it. Now what happens is, in a test plan, we know that this is the overall thing that we need to do. This is the big master thing. And then it will have hundreds of test cases, and it will have dozens of requirements to be handled. Okay?
Okay.
So the plan basically says, let's say I have 20 people for QA. When will we start? When will we end? Who will work on what? What is it that we will do? What are the tools that we will use? What are the automation that we will do? Do we need, what is the scope of testing? What is in scope? Like, I have to do this thing, ABC, for sure. Unfortunately, we cannot do DEF because either time or resources, something is delimiting and becomes out of scope.
Okay.
So that is what a test plan contains. The whole start to end, who will do what is our roles, responsibilities, tools, technologies, process, and so on.
Okay, so mostly like a QA lead or QA manager will do that, right?
Yes, but again, you can be QA engineer who is also assigned by QA manager who will come, he or she will come to you and say, hey, sorry, what was your name? Tulasi,
Lassi? Yeah.
Tulasi. Will come to you, Tulasi, and say, Tulasi, can you create a test plan for us?
Okay.
So don't expect that only a QA manager or lead or an architect will do it. It could be also something that you are assigned to and you would have to do it.
Okay.
But the point is, once you know it very logically, then it's easy. And as part of this program, you will get access to a lot of documentation. Test plan, templates, test case templates, all the stuff will come to you. That shouldn't be
Okay.
a problem.
Okay.
Okay. So a basic skeleton. But the purpose of a test plan and how it is being presented is what I mentioned right now.
Okay. So it's like a plan of a project or a plan of a module or a
Plan
plan
of a
for
project. It's not for a module. It's usually for an entire project.
entire project. Okay.
Yes. But sometimes the project only has one module in focus. But it is usually for an entire project.
Entire project of the team, right? Say like yeah. Okay.
For the whole team which will work on that project. I might have a QA team of 20 people in one company, but we may be working on 3 projects. So I'll have 3 different test plans.
Okay.
6 are in one team, another 6 are in another team, and then we have 8 in another team.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Kelly, you had a question for me? Kelly?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So my question was, can Selenium read test data from Excel? Like if you had, what if you had wanted to parameterize your test data, so the first time it logged in as A and the second time it logged in as B?
Yes. So test data will be coming to it, Kelly, but primarily the concept is very simple. Now let us say this Geico application is there. When I enter 91303, it works fine. But let's assume that a user comes from a country where Geico is not present and they enter a 7-digit zip code, for example. How is the application supposed to behave at that time? So let's try. I don't know what it will do. I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not even letting me put that value, right? It's only delimiting me to 5 things. So when we try and put that value, what happens to the application? What does it do? So to test the same feature or functionality where the test data keeps changing is important. What happens if I put A, B, C, D, E instead of numbers and say start code? It didn't do anything because it didn't even bother. It didn't bother at all because they know that they have to fill customer information, then vehicle, drivers, discounts, and then get to code. It's more of a marketing gimmick that it's easy to get started with a code. And they know that once the user puts in one information, they'll continue to go with the rest. So we need to test and see.
So you can't parameterize your test so that it reads the data and goes through multiple scenarios?
Correct. Exactly. How can we do it with Selenium IDE? It does not have the inbuilt features to do it.
Okay.
It's very, very tough to parameterize here. So we get to Selenium WebDriver.
Okay. And what about testing compatibility on different browsers? Are we limited to just Firefox?
Selenium IDE is only for Firefox. That is where it starts and it ends. It does not do a cross-browser. We won't spend more than 2 days on Selenium IDE for the basics of automation. Then we get to Selenium WebDriver, which will help us do cross-browser on Chrome, Safari, IE, Firefox, and so on. So we have the choice at that time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Who else has a question for me? But I need to unmute. Shankar, I don't know if you have a question. I sent an audio pin. Looks like you've dialed in from the phone. Joe, you had a question for me? I can read your question. I cannot hear you yet, but let me read your question. I have a question on applying for a job, which is test lead role. My question is to apply it or not, the project which I worked before. Wow. It's a $100,000 question. See, how do we, let's say, can I apply to become an aeronautical engineer? I cannot because I have known nothing, no idea on what it is, right? But can I apply to become a project manager? Yes. Can I apply to become a CEO of a financial company? No. So basically, what you're applying for is highly dependent on your background, your experience, and your skill. That's it. If you're comfortable, you should. And test lead is not a management job. Team lead is different, test lead is different. Okay, team lead could be more administrative and management. A test lead is someone who knows QA in and out. Not only can he or she do the work as a QA engineer, but also can coordinate and get it done with lots of other members in that team. That's primarily what a test lead is. If you believe that you have the basic QA analyst or engineer skills and you have done the lead roles earlier, great. But typically, when you try and change your line from one role to the other, you do it in an existing job, and then you can go to another company and continue on that. Let's say you're a QA engineer, I would have to evaluate you very strongly before I hire you as a test lead. That's my answer to you. All right, team. I look like no other questions. I'm assuming so. We'll connect tomorrow, same time, and we'll take it from there. Thanks, everyone. Bye now. Take care, all of you. See you back tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Thanks all. Bye for now.